So it turns out that without turbos, the twin turbocharged 2.7 liter Ecoboost is gutless. Let's see if we can fix that. So yesterday I started having some trouble with my truck, and I realized that it just did not have any power coming out of second or third gear. And it was really just because kind of like you put the pedal down and it doesn't go. I didn't really know why at first. And then I got a check engine light and an orange wrench light on my dash that said C manual. That's not good. Now the orange wrench light is usually a powertrain fault indicator, whereas the check engine light could be thousands of things. So I pulled out my my phone and I just Bluetoothed it to my OBD adapter that I have plugged in there. And I got a P0299 code, which is a low boost code. And what that means is that the engine is expecting a certain amount of boost based on the throttle position, but its actual amount of boost is less than that. And so it's saying that, hey, your turbocharger is not creating as much boost as I'm asking for. Now, I haven't felt any massive explosions and no steam or smoke shooting out, so I have a pretty good feeling that my turbochargers aren't dead. Hopefully. So then I thought back and I realized when I started my trip that day, I remembered hearing a new noise, and it was like this rushing of air noise. So putting this all together, I think I've got a boost leak. Boost leaks aren't that big of a deal. It's just sometimes they're hard to track down. Now I think I've got a good starting point with where I'm going to start looking, and hopefully it's not a big deal. But if it's not a boost leak, then we're going to have some much bigger issues. So let's get this thing back home and start checking it out, see what's going on with this thing. So the first step I'm going to take in tracking down these boost leaks is checking all of my boot connection. So we got one right here, and this is a good boot. It doesn't seem to be leaking. It's on very tight, and all of these boots are going to have these hose clamps on them, and those clamps are both in good positions and very tight. So that's probably not our leaking point. Then we're just going to follow all of these hoses around and look for points of leaking. So we've got turbos on either side. We're going to check all those boots, make sure they look good, which they do from here, but I'm going to get a little bit closer up with them, and then we'll follow those back down to where they connect at the front of the engine, and we'll see if we can't find our leak. I'm not seeing anything on either turbo, so there's two turbos on this engine. It's a 2.7 liter Ecoboost. So there's one on this side and one on this side. And the way these turbos are hooked up is each bank, it's a V6, so each bank feeds one turbo. So the right side of the engine feeds this turbo, the left side of the engine feeds this turbo, and they come forward and meet up front. Other things you might want to look for is oil around the turbos. If you see a lot of oil, that might mean the actual turbos failed. I'm not seeing any oil at all. Everything looks pretty good. You may also see oil at the site of your boost leak if you don't have an oil separator like I do, because typically these intercooler hoses do carry oil in them. So you may see some spraying of oil around your leak, so that might help you out in finding it. I'm not seeing anything obvious up here. So let's drop down below and look at the intercooler. This is your intercooler, and so this is where the air comes from the turbochargers to be cooled before it goes into the motor. So it's got two connections on the passenger side and one big one coming out of the driver's side, as well as on the driver's side there's the electronic blow-off valve. So the electronic blow-off valve could be a source of the leak, as well as either of these hoses on either side. So we're going to check them all and make sure that none of them are leaking. It may help you to take the electronic blow-off valve off to inspect it. So we'll do that when we get there, if we need to. So these are the two on the passenger side, and they both look pretty good. They're not soaked in oil, which they can be if they start leaking, and all of the hose clamps are tight and they don't feel loose. So I'm going to move on. Alright, so this is the larger hose on the driver's side, and I think I found the problem. This probably going to be kind of a short video, fortunately for me, maybe unfortunately for you. I don't know if you can see very well. Let me pull this off. if you can see that, but this hose is almost completely off this intercooler pipe. So we're gonna have to fix that. I'm gonna guess that's the source of my leak. Not a very good connection there. So let's get that spring clamp off, reposition that intercooler tube, and see if we can resecure it. One trick I learned on my old 7.3 liter diesel was putting some hairspray on the intercooler tube can help that silicone boot stick to it a little bit better. So we may try that if we continue to have problems with this silicone boot. Do you think it's a 10 millimeter? First try? Oh, first try, look at that. So I'm going to loosen it. That way I can, and it was actually pretty loose. It didn't take much effort to loosen that. So I'm going to loosen it so that I can move it down on the intercooler boot, reposition the boot, and get it back to where it needs to be. Why am I doing this the hard way? See what I was saying about the oil? Alright, so it looks like I need to rotate this boot a little bit to make it fit properly. So the way the spring clamp on the other end of that intercooler boot is oriented, I can't get to it without lowering this intercooler bracket a little bit, so I'm going to do that. Well, that's a problem. The head on the spring clamp broke. All right, off to the auto parts store. All right, I am back from the store. I'm gonna slide this clamp off and slide the new one, and it's down towards the bottom. I'm going to keep that oriented up so I don't have to drop this bracket if I ever have an issue in the future. I'm going to put this one back on. Alright, that's not good. Is this in place? It's in place. Let's tighten this one down. Oh, that's the old size. All right, I don't think that's going anywhere, and I think that was probably my issue. Oh, can't forget this. Tighten that back up. Perfect. All right, so I think I figured out what the problem was. I think it was that intercooler boot, so I'm going to use the Torque Pro app here and a Bluetooth adapter I've got on my truck to scan all the engine codes, and then I'm going to have it clear the codes And if it doesn't come back after we do a few wide open throttle runs, then I'm gonna say that that was it. Okay, check engine light is off. We have a stored code, the same P0299 code, but it's stored, it's not active. And then let's see if it's fixed. Also, let's get some data logging going. Start logging. We don't know what normal boost is, but hope, oh God. All right, try not to fall. Let's see if it's better. I have to be careful because it's wet out. Oh, it feels so much better. And by better, I mean normal. Those brakes, though. I'd say it's fixed. That feels back to normal. I had a little bit of slippage with the tires there, but I think you moved again. But yeah, I think it's back to normal. The check engine light is not on. The service, the wrench light is not on, and the seat of my pantsometer is back to normal. So I think we're good. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to hit that like button if you like this video, and if you really like this video and want to see more.